Hey, I'm Rusty.
And I'm Heather.
And we're the Bryants, and this is the Redeemed Marriage Podcast.
We are here to encourage healthy marriages, strengthen wounded marriages, and begin the process of restoration to broken marriages.
We aren't licensed counselors, but we are a redeemed couple that loves the Lord and wants to help you journey through this messy, challenging, and fun part of life called marriage. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. This is Rusty and Heather Bryant. I just introduced you again instead of letting you introduce yourself, but the reason why we got a jam-packed show today.
So excited.
So we've got to get into this really quick so that we can get right to the just the substance that we have for today.
It's going to be great.
It is. And so today we're actually we're kind of going out on a subject that we don't talk about it a lot, and it's not because I don't really know why we don't talk about it a lot, because we're not scared of it. We ain't been scared of no topics. But there's a lot of podcasts and things out there that discuss this topic a lot, and we have touched on it a couple of times, but tomorrow we're actually recording this the day before Valentine's, so we thought it was a great opportunity to get about sex. Yeah, get a little more risque with our conversation today. So this is your warning if you happen to be a mom or a dad that drives around the car listening to our podcast with the little kids.
You might not want to.
Yeah, and we're not going to get crazy with this, but it's a very, very, very important topic, and we want to talk about it.
And it was on our survey a lot.
Yes, it was on our survey a lot, and so we're touching on the survey when we talk about this. But the first thing that I wanted to this is the reason why it's hard, or why we haven't talked about this a lot, or no, it's not even why we haven't talked about this, but people don't like to talk about it. Couples don't like to talk about it. And part of it is that we have this warped view of, and some of that society and what we're seeing, but also most of us grow up hearing that sex is bad, sex is gross, sex is dirty, save it for marriage.
Yeah.
All right. And then you get married and you're like, okay. Now what?
It's okay to do this, and now what?
Yeah, now what? And so it's hard to talk about it openly, and it's hard to discuss things with your spouse. And so what we want to do today is, first of all, we just want to say that, of course, everything that we're going to talk about today, we 100% believe, because we believe in what the Bible teaches about marriage and about physical intimacy. We believe that this is between a husband and a wife and a married couple. We love the fact that sex is very biblical. Like God created it.
He did.
And he created it obviously for procreation, because that's how we populate the earth.
Right.
We've populated with two of our own. And then, but it's also for recreation. And I love the fact that the Bible celebrates it and encourages it. And if you don't believe that that's true, go read Song of Solomon. It is a great book, and it's so encouraging that God designed sex and he encourages it. So the way that we're going to handle this today, though, is we could sit here and talk about it, and people could listen and go, well, y'all been married 25 years. Y'all don't have little kids. Y'all don't have, y'all's situation isn't like ours. And we could talk about just physical intimacy from our perspective. But that's not fair, because there's a lot of different listeners out there, and we don't want people to go, yeah, well, that's just y'all's opinion.
Right.
So we're about to share some research.
Research-based sex.
But it's very personal research.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, we did this research.
Right. We did.
So as we get started, this is what this is all about. Several years ago, the first group of people that came to us and asked us to do a small group with them, we wrote our own small group curriculum. we had a wonderful group of couples that were in this, and the greatest thing about it is there was a couple that was older than us. There were several couples that were younger than us. One had no kids at the time. The others, there was a couple that had kids older than us at the time, but there was also a couple that had some younger children. So it was this big spectrum.
That's right.
And when we got to the topic of physical intimacy, I think we titled it Heat Up. And we split up into a guys group and a girls group, and we did a little exercise that was basically the top 10 things that you want your spouse to know about sex.
Right.
So for the guys, we came up with a top 10 list that we wished that our wives knew. And the thing about it is that it wasn't one of those things we made sure. It wasn't like, okay, well, Johnny, which there wasn't a Johnny in our group, I don't think, but Johnny's having trouble with his physical intimacy and his wife. So give us your top 10 and we'll tell her it's all right.
Right.
It was, we all had to agree. We had to agree on it. And obviously some things were more important than others, but we all agreed on it. So I'm sitting here with a top 10 list from the husbands. You've got a top 10 list from the wives.
Yep.
Here's the deal. That's 20 things.
It's 20 things. So, and they're not necessarily in order of importance.
Yes,
it's
I'm
just
glad.
10 things.
10 things.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and I remember us talking through this, the wives. Y'all went to the back porch, and we were in the den. And I don't remember. Anyway, the ladies, I mean, most of us agreed on all 10 things. But if one of these things doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. It's just this is a general 10 things that we wish that our husbands knew, and in your case, 10 things you wish your wife.
Well, part of the reason why we did this little project too, was because we wanted to be able to say, we wanted the husband or the wife, either one, to be able to go back and say, see, it's not just me.
Right.
Like, we want you to, like, it was this it was freedom. It was really cool, and what a great exercise to do, because it was just one of those things there. I remember afterwards and us talking about it, individually or as couples and stuff, and just going, wow, I thought that was crazy, but like the whole group,
right,
that was something you want us to know. So here we go. We got to roll. All right. And we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about each one, but if something, if you think about something that you just want to throw in, whether it's something that you say or I say, that's fine. So you go first.
Okay.
Go.
All right. Our first one is daily connection is very important. Text, attention, let them know that they are on your mind. So for us, it's very important for you to text during the day and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. How's your day going? Blah, blah, blah. I can't wait to see you tonight.
Right, because if you don't do that, then it's just like
they hadn't thought about me all day.
Thought about you all day, and now all of a sudden,
And I think people are sometimes saying, "Oh, I don't want to bother them at work," but I mean, like, I can be teaching and glance down at my watch and see you're thinking about me. Makes my whole day.
Yep. Cool. Okay, number one for the boys, or for the husbands, was more frequent.
That doesn't surprise me.
But, we talked about it, and I think that, now, again, our listeners, we could be all over the map with this thing. I mean, there could be people that are like, oh, yeah, 5 or 6 times a week. There could be people that are like, maybe 5 times a year. So, so the thing is, we started, as I remember us talking about it, and we were like, well, we don't want them to think that there's this expectation of 7 days a week, and so we even said, all right, well, let's give them a number, let's throw it out there and say this would be awesome. And the number that the husbands came up with was 2 or 3 times as an average, 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I was just clarifying.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay.
I was like, a month, a year?
What
is that? A day?
All right, moving on. Go.
All right. Along those same lines, one of ours was sometimes a quickie is just fine. Like, it doesn't have to be this long, drawn out, foreplay and candles and baths, and sometimes a quickie is just fine.
Okay. Cool. All right. Husbands, another thing that we said was to initiate sex more often. that we want that from our spouse. So the comment was, if we're always initiating it, then we feel like it's just an obligation.
Right, which is so funny because one of ours is both people should initiate.
Okay.
So that not just us all the time. Y'all don't have to sit around and wait on us to initiate all the time. We want y'all to initiate some. Sometimes we want to do the initiating.
Okay.
So both people.
All right. Here's a good one. Something to let us know that tonight is a good night. And this was thrown out like, so if you ever been to one of those steak houses like Texas de Brazil, where if you've got the little card on your table, if it's green, that means keep bringing me some of that food. Right. If you turn it over to red, that means So I don't know what that is and what that means to each couple, but
you should go get a card.
Something. Look, we heard Ted Cunningham. He talked. There was a special candle that they would light if it was and he said he would come in the mornings and be like, "It's lit." I mean, this is a pastor.
Not in the morning.
No, because then he knew that the whole day,
that's
tonight's a good night.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
she might blow that candle out by the time he gets home.
Maybe so. All right.
Okay. I'm echoing you, but I'm trying to line.
No, it's cool.
Okay, because we have as our number 10, pick up on hints, and that can be pro and con. Like if we are talking about how bad our day was, or how hard our day was, or I remember when the kids were younger and I was at home, it was like, if one more person needs me today, and if I say that, that's a pretty good hint. No. But if there's, other hints that I'm throwing out, and if the candle's lit, pick up on hints.
Okay. All right. The next one, the husband said, follow through.
Yeah.
And I think that what that means is, if there is a hint or a flirtation, or even if it's voiced and said, tonight's the night, or hey, just wait till you get home, that kind of thing. I don't even understand how a wife could forget that might actually have been said, because I can promise you that if it's said, there ain't nothing else the guy thinks about the rest of the day. So the worst thing that could happen is you genuinely just forget about it, which you've said that wives can do that. I don't understand it. But you genuinely forget, or you're just like, oh no, I'm forget this. I'm too tired now. I mean, if that's the case, there needs to be some kind of a conversation, not just, okay, good night and roll over.
Right.
All
Absolutely. Right. Okay. The next one for us is foreplay happens outside of the bedroom.
Okay. That was kind of like, a lot of that, like what you said, paying attention during the day.
Sure.
And, yeah.
Well, and like you, and I have to brag on you for a minute, but you are so intentional on your acts of service around the house. Like, you take our youngest to school in the morning, and I have to be at work earlier than that. And so for you to, while he's getting ready for school and while you're getting ready to go, you throw some dishes in the dishwasher, or just do some chores around the house. Well, when I get home, I don't have to go, there's dishes in the sink that I need to do. And so that is a very intentional thing for me to look at and go, he thought about me and he's trying to help me out. And there's something that I can do to help him out as well.
Cool. Okay. All right. Emotional involvement. And
do explain.
There's a note out beside here that said,
y'all are all about your notes.
Hey, we want to explain. And the good thing, because we said that it's like talking is to a girl. So girls like communication and talking. And if you were talking to me and I was completely thinking about something else, or just kind of nodding here and there, but not connecting and not really being emotionally involved in your conversation, that's not a good conversation. That's not good for you. So in the same way, it's not all about the act for the husband. Like we want to know. I think that what we're saying is, a lot of times the wife thinks that it's just a physical act for the husband, but we actually want to be emotionally connected.
Right.
Like that's why it happens. And so we want you to be emotionally connected, but part of the physical act is that we become emotionally connected to you.
Right.
Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because it's like the glue that cements a marriage
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Be flexible. It doesn't have to be a routine. It doesn't have to be this day at this time on the schedule. Now, we have heard marriage counselors say, if it has to be scheduled, schedule it. And
Yep.
there might be a season where that's what
Absolutely.
we have to do. But if you're not in that season where you have to schedule it, then it doesn't have to be every time both kids have soccer on this night, this is when it's going to happen. Is that an opportune time? Absolutely. But it doesn't have to be just routine all the time.
You know, we've gotten a lot of questions or a lot of comments on our survey that have said, you know, how do you keep physical intimacy alive when you have small children? This is actually one of the times, if you're in that season, you might have to schedule it. And that's not a bad thing because sometimes it just creates the anticipation
And
and the
excitement,
excitement behind it. So, yeah, it's okay to do that. But I think what you're saying is that it doesn't have to be, it's like, okay, well, every Sunday, you know,
Right.
whatever. All right. Okay. So the next thing for the husbands was, feedback and confirmation. And the note out beside it says that the male ego, like we have an ego. And so to know that you enjoyed being with me, that's a big deal. So yeah, you know, just the feedback, the confirmation, you know, what was good, what you enjoyed, that sort of thing.
All right. Our next one is, we enjoy pleasing you. And sometimes that's enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So sometimes, do I need to explain?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, no. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Right.
sometimes it doesn't have to take forever and you don't have to worry about us so much.
Right.
As we just, sometimes it's okay that we made you happy.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Here's a fun one. Creativity and excitement. Notes again. I love this because I remember exactly who was in the group that was giving us a lot of extra commentary, and it was great. But it says something different, like, you know, it doesn't always have to be the same thing. And in parentheses, it says lingerie. It says things like when you were younger. Not sure what that means, but that's funny. This is the best one. Sometimes we want to freak in the bedroom. And then it says, you can't embarrass yourself.
There you go.
But I loved it because it said, I remember him saying, we don't always want you hanging on the chandelier, but sometimes that's okay.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
I am going to say to this, though, just because I feel led to, do not bring something not of the Lord into your marriage
Absolutely.
bed. You
That's
do
right.
not need any type of pornography
Right.
or any visual yuckiness that's not between you and your wife in the bedroom.
Right.
It should be God honoring.
That's right.
Okay. I just felt like I needed to
No,
throw
I
that
love
in.
it. I'm glad you did.
Okay, so right along with that, we have open up and tell us what you like sexually for you to be able to say, I really like it when
Yep.
I enjoy it when you that
Okay.
and on that, and I heard you say that y'all like to be told that it was good and that it was fun and that we enjoyed it. So I'm not throwing that back on you, but they kind of go hand in hand.
Well, guess what the next one here is?
I'm ready for it.
Tell us what you expect from us. ... What you like.
Okay.
You know, and the crazy thing,
Communication.
yes, and the crazy thing is that we
Shocker.
feel like, I think that husbands and wives, we feel like we're so different in this
Yeah.
area, and we're
We're not.
really not.
Mm-mm.
We're not. I mean, there definitely men are from Venus or Mars or whatever. We were,
and
the old book.
spaghetti and meatballs.
And all that. Yes, we are different.
waffles.
But there's a lot. I mean, how many times have we just been repeating what each other have
I know,
said?
that's
And I
right.
think that should be an encouragement.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
okay.
Sure.
So tell us what you expect from us and what
That's
you
right.
like. All right.
Okay. Oh, this is such a good one. Do physical touch without expecting anything in return. Now, this one is a tricky one for us. We've been around the crazy cycle several times on this one because your love language is physical touch.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Brr.
It is.
It's words of affirmation.
Oh, it's second then. Physical touch. Words of affirmation and then physical
Words
touch.
of affirmation. That's somewhere on this list, though, right?
Sure it is. But words of affirmation, then physical touch. Well, mine is quality time. Well, those things are really hard to do simultaneously unless you have a conversation or if there's an expectation there. For example, I love to lay on the couch and just lay on your chest, cuddled up, watching a movie. But can I enjoy that the whole time without thinking, I bet this is going to lead to something else. He's probably going to want something else. Why can't this be enough? Blah, blah, blah. All of that going through my head. So there has to be some communication
Yep.
of, can we just lay on the couch and watch a movie tonight? And then, of course, if that leads somewhere, great.
Yep.
But it doesn't have to be every time you pat me on the butt when I'm washing dishes means I have to then go to the bedroom.
Yeah, like Craig Rochelle said when his wife says, "Will you stir the pot for me?" I'll stir the pot for you. He's like, everything can be made sexual to a guy.
That's right.
And that's a
right.
pastor, one of our favorite pastors, talking about that. No, that's good. And I'm going to jump in there and say this because I remember this one particular couple that was in the group, and the same one that said that about hanging from the chandelier. But he also said that sometimes his wife will say, "Can we cuddle on the couch?" And he's thinking to himself, "Is this cuddle with a chance?" And I think that that's so important to just throw it out there and just be honest, because yes, most guys are gonna lay there wondering,
Right.
and it's just better to not wonder.
And you don't say, okay, we're going to cuddle without a chance tonight and then let it go days and days. Maybe
Right.
the next night
Right.
initiate something.
For sure.
But it's okay, guys, for your wife to want to cuddle and just lay there watching a movie or something like that without expecting that it always leads to the bedroom.
Right.
Is it my turn?
No, it's my turn.
Oh,
That was
man.
you. Okay, so this one says, don't do it out of guilt or obligation. And I know that's tricky because you said that sometimes, but I think that for the guy, even when you say, it doesn't always have to be for both of you, like that's okay. But I think that there's a way to even do that to where we don't feel like you're just doing it because you feel obligated.
That's right. Your words
it's
are
it's a
powerful.
service. I mean, I don't. That sounded bad.
Yeah, I don't
it?
like that word
No.
service, but it is a way I serve you.
Yes, that's what I
Okay.
meant. That's what I meant.
Yes, it is a way that I like. Even if I'm not in the mood, or if I've had a rough day, I know that is something that is very important to you, and it is vital for your self-confidence, for how you feel intimate with me, how you feel close to me. And I know that when we do that, you feel closer to me. So sometimes I just have to serve you in that way.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't like. I know it's the same
know.
word, but
No,
I
I
didn't. I cringed,
Oh,
so I
I
didn't
know.
want anybody else to
I understand.
cringe. So,
Okay.
but yes, I serve you in that way. Sometimes, I mean, it's just reality.
Yep.
Okay. I think I haven't read this. I definitely haven't. There is no desire if you have been a butthole all day. And I can remember who said that one.
A lot of these are very similar.
But I don't have to explain that.
Nope.
Like if you've been a butthole to me, don't expect to get in the
Right.
bed. Sorry.
Yep.
Sleep on the couch
Okay.
or with your back to me.
I think this is number 10. Are you
I've done mine out of order.
Okay, well, this one
after.
just says, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I think that,
Ugh.
like, we said that earlier when we just talked about being creative and stuff. You can't embarrass yourself. But I think this one was more of, like, we know you don't look the way that you looked on your wedding night. And we don't expect that. We still love you and desire you. And so we don't want you to be embarrassed. And especially, like don't talk about that, Don't be like, oh, I don't want to because I've put on 10 pounds or, like that.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's what
and
that.
if anybody can speak to that, it's me, because I've had a double mastectomy, and I have scars that are not pretty to me. But yet you have affirmed me in such a way that no matter what that looks like, no matter if I've put on some LBs or not, that you are still in love with me and your desire is for me.
Yep.
And you're not thinking about anybody else or anything else or any other picture, even my younger me, but you love me right now, who I am right now.
Yep.
So, girls, I get it. LBs are tough. Scars are tough. It happens, but it's part of life, and you've journeyed together, and your bodies are changing, and they will change. If you don't have children yet, they will change through that process, and it's just all part of loving who we were 25 years ago, and even more loving who we are today because of what we've been through together.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I looked at them. I think
you've done
that's
all
my
10.
10.
Oh, well, we had an 11th.
Oh, crap. Wait, did I start? Oh, no. Wait.
Yeah, you did start.
Okay, while you do.
No, you did start.
But
You're
still,
done.
you've done 2.
I know you're done, but I looked, and mine actually has number 11.
Oh, like you literally have an
Yes, because it said, I guess
cheated.
the guy said, we got to throw this in there too. And it just basically says, God made us this way, and you are our only outlet.
Ooh,
and
that's a good
and
one.
it is a good one. And I don't want guys to ever like use that as a to hang it over their head, but like there is a lot of truth to that too. And God made us with these, and it's not just the guys.
Sure.
And all guys and girls, there are instances where girls have a higher sex drive than the man.
Sure.
But
and we've talked to couples like that. And these things still apply.
Absolutely. But I do think that there's a lot to that. To just recognize that there's not something wrong with us. Like God made me this way, and God made me. And the cool thing is that I do have, there is an outlet, but I don't even really like that word because it is just a desire to have this connection with your spouse. And just like we said at the beginning, if you're listening to this and you are not married, this is something for you to take and store away for when you are married. We are speaking to married couples because that is God's design.
Yep.
Is for the physical intimacy, sexual relationship to take place between a married covenant marriage, husband and wife.
Yep.
So
I feel like we could have taken these 20 things and talked about each one for a whole episode.
Man, that'd have been 20 weeks. Come back.
That's
20
right.
weeks of sex talk. Yeah.
It's a little much.
That's a little much.
Yep.
But it's crazy because we have had, you said it, we had on our survey, and then also we've just had some people reach out to us and just ask us specifically. And I think that people just love the fact that we're not afraid to talk about something. And if it is a marriage issue, we want to tackle it. Some of you, this episode might not be your cup of tea.
Your cup of tea.
Your cup of tea. And that's okay too, because there will be next week it probably will be your cup of tea.
That's right.
All right. So tomorrow we are doing a drawing. So if
Yay!
you actually, which by the time people are listening to this, it will be the day that we're going to do the
That's
drawing
right.
on Valentine's. But it's not too late.
Happy
if you
Valentine's Day. We
Yes.
should have said that at the beginning.
Truth. If you want to get in on the survey, we'll put the link in the show notes. That actually worked. Lots of people did the
Yay.
survey this past week. So make sure that you click on that link and do the survey. We're going to do a drawing. We'll reach out to you by email and let you know that you have won. Also, be looking this week because we're going to share something. We did a little hint of it on our Instagram and
Who was
Facebook
watching?
from this weekend. If you saw something in a picture, we've got something we can offer people. So that'll be fun. We're going to try to roll that out this
Our
week.
book is not ready.
It's
yet.
not the book. No, I was not wearing the book. But if you have not had an opportunity, please go and rate and review our podcast. That helps us get in front of more people. We love being with you every week. We love all the encouragement and support that you guys give us. And so, happy Valentine's Day. I hope that you take some extra special time this week to connect with your spouse. And remember that we're praying for you. If you've reached out to us, we pray for you by name, and we'll continue to do that this week. So until next time,
Bye, guys.
bye-bye.
Hold up.